going into the the 12-minute media timeout in the second half, we had an 8-point lead, and up until that, I think it was 47-39, and then over the course of the last 11:45, got outscored 33-12. Give UC Davis credit for digging in, getting stops, executing down the stretch. That was a point in the game where you could have went either way, and with our team, we're still, even though we have some experience, we got some talent. I mean, we got guys that we're still trying to figure out. We're just still trying to figure out how to play with one another. You can see Jordan Davis. He struggled tonight. He's another game where he gets in foul trouble, but he's still trying to figure out how to play with the new guys. The new guys are trying to play with the old guys, and so it's going to be it's going to take a little while for us to kind of figure a few things out, and that's what's good early on when you play a good team like Colorado and another team like UC Davis, who's has an experienced roster. You got a really good player inside in Minneke. And they're going to show your flaws, and that's where hopefully we can learn from that and go back and kind of reflect a little bit and how we can kind of figure out ways to kind of close and execute in the games, because to be outscored 42-22 or whatever it was in the second half, I mean, we're a better team than that, and we're going to find a way to fix it, get better from it, and move on to Pepperdine.
Jeff, I don't know how you're set up in terms of how you want your offense to flow, but I'm looking here, and if I'm looking at just from this standpoint, I'm looking at Tanner Morgan, 3 points, Versalino, no points, and then you get Jordan Davis has foul trouble, you only get 5 from him, and you get 2 from Anthony Johnson. That's not going to fly in terms of almost any night. Do you anticipate, or do you expect a chunk more from those guys down low?
Yeah, and that's where Tanner Morgan against Colorado State gets 15 points, and that really helped. And that's kind of in our exhibition season. Those post guys found ways to give us a few extra points where it didn't put so much pressure on our guards to do the bulk of the scoring. And that's where I got to also do a better job of finding ways to create some easy baskets, especially as the game moves on. Finding ways to move Tanner and those bigger guys into where they can get in position to get some shots. But at the same time too, you start the second half and we had some open looks, had some open layups. You gotta finish those when you get the opportunity to do so. And what we were doing was good enough to be up 8, with 11 minutes left. And like I said, that last 11 minutes, for whatever reason, we just, whether that was fatigue, had a little bit to do with the other team, that's kind of where we're at. And that's where, we got to find ways to get some easier baskets, whether that's at the foul line. You can't be a team that lives and dies by the 3. And it was a tough stretch, and we got to be better.
I know it's only the second game. But I don't know. Going back and looking at your game the other night and even before, when do free throws start becoming more of just it'll turn around? I know it's something that never got over the hump a season ago, and I think you're a little bit slow starting off again. And I know your theory is, hey, those will come, but at some point does it not become more of a pressing issue?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's the guys that get there. I mean, Jordan Davis, he has to make his, he's 1 for 3. I mean, he has to make his. Kai Edwards 0 for 2. I mean, when you get, that's 1 for 5 right there.
Yeah.
The guys, that's where, I talked to Anthony Johnson. I mean, he's a guy that needs to get to the foul line more. He needs to be a guy that gets downhill, because he's a guy that shoots free throws at 85%. So I need to get him, getting more aggressive and attacking and putting him in situations to where he can get downhill. And so that's where a lot of it boils down to, guys getting, the guys that are getting there, need to be the guys that can necessarily make them. But, it's a deal where, we got to the foul line 17 times a night. We did a good job of keeping them off the foul line, and I thought we did a good job for the most part minimizing their 3 attempts, although we gave them a couple tough ones there, when they kind of made their run to get back in the game. So, like I said, we got to get to the foul line more. There's no question. And when we get there, we got to step up and make them.
What Talk a little bit about your freshman. He gave you quality minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big bright spot from the game was Jalen and his performance. I mean, what he does on both ends of the floor. I mean, he's going to be a really, really good player. The plays he makes, the winning plays on the defensive end for being a young guy, you know, it's going to definitely help this team in the long run. And that's where, you got to have perspective in terms of, it's a long season. We got till, early March until the Big Sky tournament. Now, hopefully we can figure it out between now and then, which we will. But, it's going to take some time to figure out the pieces of this puzzle. And the puzzle right now is all over the place, but, we're going to figure out how to put it all together and figure out, some of those guys that might be on the bench right now, might be guys that might be playing later. Maybe they're, can help us, find ways. Maybe Ibrahim Silla, coming off the bench might be a guy that can help us maybe get a couple easy baskets down low. But, as a coaching staff and as a group, we got to kind of look at each other, got to look in the mirror and figure out how we can fix it.
He didn't play tonight, did he?
No.
Any particular reason why Anthony Johnson didn't start?
No, we just wanted to we figured with the way they were, with their lineup, them playing bigger, especially with Minneke at the 4, we just didn't feel like playing the lineup we started at Colorado, kind of that 4-guard lineup was going to be matched up as well. And so kind of wanted Anthony to provide a spark off the bench. And he tried to do what we told him to do, just, for whatever reason, the shot's not falling right now. But that's going to come. And I said, we just got to fight through this right now, and we'll get better from it and move on to the Pepperdine game on Friday.